So, 1-1 away at Anfield, Liverpool. That was a really hard game of football to assess. I'm going to try. I usually like talking about a game this complicated the day after a game, but I'm going to do it today anyway because it's sort of fresh and I want to talk about it right now. But I don't think my full verdict on this game will come until I've really thought about it. I'll be honest with you, I probably need time to consider other points, take in more information, read about the game a little bit more, assess some opinions to see if I agree with them, judge it when things have calmed down a little bit. I do need that, and I guess maybe I'll give that a go tomorrow as well. But I do think there's something to be said for that immediate, visceral reaction to a game of football like that. And I've already got many points that sort of counter each other flying around in my head. You notice it's just me on screen, not the usual graphics, because I sort of want to just not distract myself with a live chat, with all due respect to you guys who were there, for a minute or two while I try and piece together my thoughts of this game. And I think it's important to sort of try and see the bigger picture here. Now, I'll talk about the overall end result, where we're at right now. So objectively, a 1-1 draw away at Anfield is never a bad result. It isn't. That's objective. We'll talk about the context around that draw shortly, of course, but objectively, a point at Liverpool is always a decent result. Often a good result, because Manchester City and Anfield, they're chalk and cheese. They do not go together whatsoever. So it's always a decent result. Of course, you have to talk about the context of the game. We'll get onto that in a bit. You've got to look at the table as well. We're currently sat 1 point behind both Arsenal and Liverpool. 64 points for the two of them and 63 points for us. We've got the worst goal difference there, by the way. But ultimately, and once again objectively, we're in a pretty decent position here right now. The only thing is it's no longer technically in our hands, because Liverpool have to drop points somewhere now and we don't have them to play anymore. So unfortunately, we can't do anything about that. But we are in a good position still. And this is what I'm talking about, the facts here. We're 1 point behind Arsenal. We've got them to play at the Etihad. And I do feel more comfortable about that game than I do this game. I know Arsenal are flying right now. But at home at the Etihad, I don't know. I feel more confident there. So that is the end conclusion here. Were we looking for the 1 point? I think we probably were. I don't think that's unfair. I mean, they had twice as many shots as us. You know, their XG was 2.46 to our 1.61. They should have won. You know, they should have won that game. The second half, they missed countless chances and wasted countless opportunities. Don't get me wrong, City could have scored another goal as well. I'm not going to say that we were absolutely toothless going forward. We did have some good chances. Of course, Doku late on probably should have scored. He was so unlucky to hit the post and come out. Phil Foden before that wasting an even bigger chance where he should have lifted it over the keeper. But the same thing could be said for Diaz and a whole bunch of other chances for Liverpool as well. So I think we were lucky ultimately to get a point. Hence why the title of this video is that City scraped a point. Sometimes you just have to take what you get, you know? It was sort of disconcerting to see City sort of played off the park in the second half. We did get a little bit better when Kovacic came on. We did sort of close the game down a tiny bit when Kovacic and Doku came on. We were a little bit less wasteful with the ball. We did have the odd moment where we sort of controlled them. But I can't deny that it was sort of panicky. It was panicky. And we were never really fully in control with the game. We had the odd moment here and there where City controlled a bit of possession. In the first half, I would say we probably just about tipped it, just about, maybe reasonably even. You could argue that we had a little bit more of the ball potentially in the first half in terms of territorial possession, but it was relatively even than Liverpool's second half entirely. The thing that makes it frustrating is it feels like so much of that momentum that went Liverpool's way was sort of our own doing. I'm still angry about the goal that we conceded because it was so brain dead and so stupid. Of course, the major error is the short pass from Ake. Terrible pass from a very reliable player. I love you, Nathan Ake. I really do, but it's shocking pass. I think there's a second mistake in there. I think Ederson should not have committed. I think he should have stood his man up. He was nowhere near the ball, never going to get to it, and it was a sort of brain-dead decision from both players. He reacted badly to a bad pass, but that's Ederson. Every now and then, Ederson can be quite rash. We've seen him go through people a few times. It was an absolute gift of a goal. It was calamitous and it was shocking, and ultimately that's what gave Liverpool the momentum. It was so early on in that second half as well. I don't know how the game would have planned out or played out, because Pep would have said some things, of course. He would have said that he would have said to the players to calm it down, fix the mistakes, all these kind of things, it's one of those things where it is what it is. You can't do anything about it. You can't change a mistake after it's happened. But it's so frustrating because time and time again, so the City side have sort of shot themselves in the foot. Obviously, we're still in a good position. We're in the FA Cup. We're in the Champions League quarterfinals. We're 1 point off top of the league. We are there to quote Pep Guardiola. And maybe we're overperforming this season based off our own mistakes a little bit. I don't know. But we are there still, which is the only thing that sort of matters. But I wonder where we could be. We hadn't made these mistakes. We could have been so much better. But the mistakes keep happening this season. They do keep happening this season, which to me implies that there's a slight drop-off in focus or quality or whatever. It's inevitable. Guardiola is right to say that it's incredible that we're still there in the first place to be going for another 4th title in a row. And it is incredible, don't get me wrong. And I want to stress that point once again. Someone else said in the chat earlier, I think it might have been William. William said in the chat, I don't understand why so many people can't deal with the thought of just not winning the Premier League this season. The fact that we're in a position to win 4 in a row is not normal. He's absolutely bang on. I know it can be disappointing. 2 things can be true. It can be disappointing, but it can also be unrealistic or unfair to expect more than that. I think there is a slight drop-off in the City side in terms of quality, maybe from the transfers not being quite right, or maybe focus or whatever. I don't know what it is, but there's a slight drop-off. Some players get a bit older. There's a slight drop-off, but you're still a very good side. And I don't doubt the work rate. I don't doubt the commitment. I don't doubt the focus. I still think we've got quality there as well. And we still could win it. I don't know if we're going to win it, but we still could. And I still feel like we will beat Arsenal at home. I don't know. I'm not to say Arsenal aren't brilliant. They are, but I don't know why. I just fancy us at home. I know some people agree with that, but I think it's a different kettle of fish entirely. So, it's weird to judge this game. Point, good. Position in the table, good. Performance and how he got there, not so good. Terrible? Maybe not. Frustrating and just quite not good enough, yes. I don't think it was terrible. It's Liverpool once again. Liverpool are in this weird position. We have to judge everything through the lens of Anfield and the lens of Jurgen Klopp's big hurrah and his final triumphant farewell that they're trying to celebrate and manifest into existence, because we can't deny the magic that surrounds Anfield in a game like this with Klopp's farewell kind of hanging over it as well. It absolutely is there. So I will take the 1-1. I absolutely will do. But you can't help go, what if? What if, man? Absolutely, what if we got there, man? What if we just kept the ball a bit better? But why didn't we keep the ball a bit better? I mean, there was an element of that this City side is lacking a tiny bit of experience and composure. But I say this, I could sit here and turn around, if we had Gundogan, if we had Mahrez, if we had those players, if we had those, surely we would have won at Anfield. Guess what? We had no composure when those players were in the team anyway. I don't think this is necessarily a personnel issue. I think it's something to do with Manchester City at Anfield, Liverpool just being better at Anfield than Man City. There's a bit of the personnel issue. But this is very much a mental thing with this Manchester City side. So as much as Gundogan could have made a difference today, he didn't previously. As much as Mahrez could have made a difference, he didn't previously. He missed a penalty, So it's one of those things where we maybe have to sort of look at the Liverpool game in isolation as this weird thing that we just can't control. And by the way, for any Liverpool fans joining in, I thought we were giving a pen away at the end. But the referees apparently said it was just an unavoidable coming together. So there you go. That's what the referee said. Nothing to see here. Disperse. Move on. Go and get yourself an ice cream. Have a wonderful day in a bit. You rolled and butter, you're not addressing it. What are you on about? City or the media? Someone's just called us the media darlings, by the way. Someone genuinely is that far gone that they think City are media darlings. Everyone hates City, mate. What are you on about? And yeah, we got lucky at the end. But you know what? It makes a difference. It makes a change. But either way, maybe just don't waste your 1,000,000,001 chances. And if you come in here just to start saying cheats and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to hide you because you're not contributing anything other than bitterness. And that's my job, you know what I mean? My channel, I can be bitter. You can piss off. That's what I will say. But I can't believe someone just called us the media darlings. I'm done at that. Absolutely wonderful. So I guess what I will say from City fans, what I would implore City fans to consider is the bigger picture here. I'm not saying I'm right, by the way. Feel like you want to. You call me not whatever you want. I don't care. But I would genuinely argue that it's it's not a disaster. It's not a disaster. We could have won that. We could have scraped it at the end and robbed them. And there's no shame in that, by the way. I would say this is an awful lot like, and let me bring it up on screen, this is an awful lot like the reverse fixture. This reminds me a lot of the Etihad game where we drew 1-1 against them, you know, just towards the end of the year. But we were still the better side. If you look at the stats here, I mean, here we go. I'll jump over here. It reminds me of the reverse fixture. So this is where Liverpool... This was the 1-0 the Etihad. You know, we had 16 shots to their 8. We probably should have won that game. This is today. They had 19 to our 10. You right down there? Sorry, I heard my wife shouting as well. Something. It's very similar. We've reversed it around. It's changed around. And Liverpool, I know they have some young players involved, but we can't deny that the momentum and the energy, and Bradley and Quantum, by the way, are quality young players. They really are. I've got to give them credit for that. But they had the momentum and the energy today. Yeah. A couple of Super Chats. Trey Waters with the Super Chat says, don't know how the season will end. 1 second, lads. Let me just edit that there. But we played a lot of games and mentally it's been a lot. Just want to see us pull through the next 3 months. Absolutely, mate. We played an awful lot of game football. The players have been for an awful lot over the past several years in the Guardiola. They completed football. To be where they are right now is really impressive. Some of you won't feel that way because I would guess you like the perspective to understand what constant demands of excellence does to people. It wears them down eventually. And it's not possible to be the best forever. It isn't. But to be where they are right now, I'm with Guardiola. It is impressive. I know I want us to be better, but it was not a disgraceful performance. It's not a disgraceful position where you're just hanging on in there. We are there and we are doing, I think, as good as you probably can do right now, actually. Another Super Chat from Mr. Roll-Up says, we think we're witnessing the rapid decline of KDB. I think that's an insane leap out of nowhere, mate. I think today, actually, KDB just looked a little bit tired and couldn't get up to the speed of the game. KDB has been the best player in the league since he came back, pal. So I think that's I respect your opinion, mate, but I think that's a very big leap. I think he just had a bad game. It happens to the best of him. Like, could we say that about Foden today? He was poor. Is he over now, you know? No, come on. I think he had a bad game today, but he also got an assist with a moment of genius. And if he'd probably stayed on, he might have even scored and got another assist. You never know. On the substitution, by the way, for De Bruyne, I don't think he played well today, and I think Pep decided that he wanted something a little bit different. I get it. KDB wasn't happy, but that is fine. That's absolutely fine. If we look at the team today and how they played, look, Alvarez had a stinker, unfortunately. I'm not going to scapegoat anyone, and I think whatever he did today was not as bad as the mistakes between Ederson and Ake. But Alvarez had a stinker. He genuinely did. He gave the ball away about 20 times, and that's not even an exaggeration, literally about 20 times. And he completed, 50% of his passes? That's not good enough. To complete 15 out of 27, 56%, that is really bad. And he lost the ball 19 times. I think he's a good player, but he did not suit that left wing role. He doesn't suit midfield, and he's a striker, and that is it. Phil could not get into the game too much either today. His passing was fine, but he only had 53 touches, 20 passes completed. Not involved at all, but then we could barely keep the ball. Stones, Rodri, okay. Bernardo, okay. And most people just okay. If we're being honest, we just sort of about survived. Ederson could be out for a while here. And Rodri couldn't really get on the ball. Kovacic was excellent when he came on. He was. I thought Kovacic, I wanted him to start. I think Kovacic, in a game as intense as that, where Liverpool try and do everything at 100 miles an hour, Kovacic's ability to just turn past people and go through the middle and drive forward and keep it, and he's strong and he's tough and he's aggressive. I thought he was really good. And I thought, shout out to Doku as well, by the way. Doku had a really good cameo. He had a good cameo. I saw a friend of mine say that Doku constantly makes a near post pass, but no one ever goes there. They go to the back post. That needs to be fixed by either Doku's crossing or someone make the run at the near post. But what Doku and Kovacic actually played pretty well. Got to give him the credit. So overall, for me, I don't think this is a disaster. It was frustrating, but we have to remove emotion from this game. I think we do. And I feel the situation we're in right now is one of reflection. We need to reflect a little bit. We need to be calm about this. 1-1 Anfield isn't that bad, you know? It isn't that bad. It just feels frustrating. It feels frustrating. Like Pep said, by the way, it's a great quote from Guardiola. He was asked about De Bruyne, his reaction, he said, I liked it. He said, now he's happy, but I like it that he's upset. And of course, Guardiola does not want De Bruyne happy to walk off the pitch. You want to play frustrated to be on the pitch. He wants that. He wants to see that hunger there, determination. Ultimately, it comes down to a difference of opinions between two legends of the game that respect each other. They will get over it, you know? It's just football in the moment. Guardiola said it was a great game that defines what both clubs have been for many years, you know? So ultimately, I don't think we should panic about this, you know? Liverpool should have won. They should have won. I think it was a pen as well. I think it was a pen for Ondoku. I think we got very lucky there. I would want that as pen as a Manchester City fan. I'm not going to certainly panic over this. I think when the storm settles, we'll look at the table and go, look, 10 games left. We're 1 point behind. We've got to play Arsenal. You're top of the table. We have to hope Liverpool drop points somewhere. I'm sure they will do at some point. Liverpool, let's have a look at Liverpool's fixtures. Liverpool have still got the following games to play in the Premier League. I'll show you right now on the big screen over here. So they've got Everton away. They've got Brighton at home. Sheffield United. They've got Man United away. They've got Palace at home. They've got Spurs at home. West Ham away. Villa away. And Wolves at home. They're going to win a lot of them. You know. But they have to drop points somewhere. I don't know if we'll win the league this season. I don't know. I really don't know. But I do think Pep's right. That we're there. And we're still in a good position. And you look at the table right now. We're sat in third, but we're a point behind. We've got to play Arsenal. Let's see how it goes. Anfield is done. We didn't lose. In a bit. Bye-bye, Blues. Subscribe, like. I'll see you tomorrow.